now we've chosen the material and we're ready to cut it to length. What do? It's not soft like pine. How are we going to cut it down? Well, most of the times in this shop we're going to use the abrasive wheel cutoff. You could use the horizontal band saw. It's a little slower, can sometimes give a truer cut, but most of the time we're going to be using this tool, or a tubing cutter, or a pipe cutter. Let's go take a look. My abrasive wheel cutoff is very similar to the miter saw that you were introduced to earlier in the semester. It chops down, and it's able to cut miter cuts. Although in this case, instead of moving the saw, we'll end up rotating the material instead by shifting the chalk. It has an abrasive wheel that cuts through the material, leaves a kerf just like with wood, so the side of the blade that is the material to be saved is where you want to place your focus. And when we're putting the material into the saw, instead of holding it freely with our hand, we have to clamp it in place. So we'll place it against that backstop, slide this clamp down in place, and then there's this lever that will fold down in order to tighten, screw down this clamp onto the material. Now, I want to make sure that I have my eye protection on. I also want to make sure there's nothing on the other side of the saw that would be harmed by the bits and pieces of sparkly metal that are going to come flying off of this, right? Don't want to do this in a sawdusty environment. And certainly don't want to do it if somebody is working on the other side of the saw. We'll place the material in the chalk, start the switch, get it up to speed, and then begin cutting. Not nearly as quickly as we would through a 2x4. Now that we've cut our steel to length, we have another small problem. It's got some very sharp burrs on here, and they may or may not interfere with our assembly as we start welding these pieces together. So the next step, very often, is to grind down those corners a little bit. Another useful tool for cutting off tubing is a tubing cutter, or in the case of pipe, a big old pipe cutter. We'll need to have something to hold the material fast and then be able to cut it with its little rotary cutting wheel.